There's mosquitoes and stuff.
Okay. There are many factors leading up to the 1929 stock market crash, such as the agricultural recession. So the farming industry was not at its peak. It was actually doing very bad at this time. The agricultural recession was caused by rising farm prices after World War I and cyclical debt caused by the need to purchase expensive farm equipment. Even though the agricultural recession was taking place at this time, the public was making millions and small fortunes off the stock market, which caused a sharp increase in the Dow. The public was able to buy so many of these stocks is because they were purchasing it on a marginal basis, which means they only had to put down an initial payment and the rest of the purchase was covered by bank loans. With the public making so much money off the stocks, the Fed increased the interest rates from 5% to 6% during this time. The reason for the Fed increasing the interest rate from 5 to 6% during this time was because during World War I, the dollar value slipped away from its gold comparison. When the Fed increased the interest rates, consumer confidence was overly high and consumers were buying overpriced shares. The overpriced stocks in the market at this time was again caused by the ability to purchase them on a marginal basis, which made it economically acceptable for these overinflated prices. Another thing with consumer overconfidence was the auto industry that was booming in the roaring 20s, which was also aided by the banks giving more loans than normal.
The auto industry was booming at this time because people had a lot more money from making it off the stock market, so that also related to the consumer overconfidence. And the banks gave out more loans because the money was easily available in the market, which also aided in the marginal buying process of the stocks.
A sharp decrease in the Dow, events called Black Monday and Black Tuesday, where on Black Monday the Dow decreased by 12% and Black Tuesday it decreased by 13%. The public began to panic and the asset bubble popped. The cynical press aided in the consumer panic, which ultimately caused the asset bubble in the United States to pop, causing the events known as Black Monday and Black Tuesday, where the Dow took a sharp downturn and was unexpected by economists. So these were all the events which led to the popping of the asset bubble and the stock market crash in 1929.
Black Tuesday hit Wall Street as investors traded some 16 million stocks in one single day. Billions of dollars were lost and thousands of investors were wiped out. Stock prices began to decline in September and early October of 1929. On October 18, 1929, the hysteria and fall finally began. As a state of panic settled among the citizens, on October 24th, otherwise known as Black Tuesday, a record 12,894,650 stocks were traded. Investment companies and leading bankers attempted to stabilize the market and bought great blocks of stock, producing a moderate rally on Friday. The following Monday, however, a new storm brewed and the market went into a free fall. The following days, record-breaking number of shares were traded so quickly that the stock tickers fell hours behind because the machinery could not handle such tremendous volume of trading. This widespread event led to the deepest and longest lasting economic downturn in history up to that time.
The stock market crash occurred in October 1929. Black Tuesday hit Wall Street as investors traded some 16 million shares on the New York stock in a single day. Billions of dollars were lost, which wiped out thousands of investors. During the 1920s, the U.S. stock market underwent rapid expansion and reached its peak in August 1929 after a period of wild speculation. By this time, the production had already declined and unemployment had risen, leaving stocks in great excess of their real value. There were other causes of the market collapse, including low wages, the proliferation of debt, a struggling ag sector, and an excess of large bank loans. Prices continued to drop as the U.S. slumped into the Great Depression. Although the stock market crash of 1929 was not the sole cause of the Great Depression, it did act to accelerate the global economic collapse, of which it was also a symptom. Because of this, by 1933 nearly half of America's banks had failed, and unemployment was approaching 15 million people, or 30% of the workforce. Relief and reform measures enacted by the administration of President Franklin D. Roosevelt helped lessen the worst effects of the Great Depression. However, the economy would not fully turn around until after 1939. The Great Depression was the worst economic downturn in the history of the industrialized world. Some people starved and many lost their farms and homes. Homeless vagabonds sneaked aboard the freight trains that crossed the nation. Cotton farmers migrated to California in false hope that the posters about plentiful jobs were true. One of the lasting effects was the transformation of the role of the federal government in the economy. The long and painful slow recovery led many in the American population to accept and call for a vastly expanded role of government.